Okay, now I just need to check the audio on TikTok, which I have accidentally closed. Oh no, it wasn't on another window. Okay. Seems like everything's okay. Hello, Axel. So today is stenography practice. I have lined up a few things to do. First, I'm gonna do steno jig for drill practice. Then I'm gonna do a legal terminology textbook. I'm just gonna write to it. And then I have an audio book that I'm going to practice to. So that's 3 things today. First, let's start with steno jig. I don't have the music playing just because the last time I streamed, the music for some reason was compressing my mic audio. Okay, let me. I forgot to deactivate my dictionaries. Okay, deactivated them. Let's do the dreaded dueling digit duo finger drills. Ooh, 175 strokes per minute. I think I can do better than that. Oh no, I'm slowing down. 219, good. UFB, ERP. Oh no, I've gone confused. Play Among Us? No. Whoops. What? I keep I keep hitting the wrong keys. Because URP is easier than UFB. I don't like the FB at all. I find it difficult. UPG, UBL. I mean, sorry, EPG, UBL. Slowing down. I don't know how that works. I just dropped high school after 3 years. They don't teach stenography in high school, so you're okay. Let's try that again. Oh, whoops, I forgot to look at TikTok. Difficult. I want to keep at the same speed. I'm only getting up to 180. I want to get to 200. I got lower that time. $200! Woohoo! 204. $168. I can do better than that. I can get to 200. Shoot. Sometimes I get confused. I make a mistake. Trying to get to 200 at least. Shoot. $200. Come on. And fear that I can't get to 200. This drill. $177. I think I'm just gonna have to move on. UPG EBLS. This is so difficult. $130 strokes per minute. Okay, I'll just move on. Moving on, UBL BGT. $100 strokes per minute. I can do better than that. Hello, ape.
Ticked off Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
Thank you for the yeehaw. Come on. I can get to 200 for this. Whoops. Come on. Oh, I accidentally skipped. 2 KPO. Doing this without any music is kind of boring. This is why I don't do the finger drills. I find them kind of boring to do, even though they work. I'm obviously having trouble. Thank you for the like, Phoenix. Come on. I can totally do this. At 200. Ah, 162. I'll take it. Yeah, I can't do it better than that. Damn it. $158. Man. I always choke at the very end. I'm doing okay so far, and then I accidentally typo and I get confused. And I start hitting the wrong keys. Okay, I'll move on. Wow, it's already been like 21 minutes? That's ridiculous. Okay, after this, I'm gonna do the 100 most common words drill, then do some quotes, then I'll move on to the legal terminology textbook. Okay, I'm gonna move on to most used words. Oh, whoops. Excuse me. I have to activate all my dictionaries again. Error. Okay, that was 101 words per minute. Okay, quotes now. Then I'll move on to the legal terminology textbook. Didn't have to know how it would stand if he didn't look at it and moved off to the. $134. Misses the time. I missed it. Huh. Okay. One was slow. If there ever comes a day when we can't be together, keep me in your heart. I'll stay there forever. An illuminating sunrise lights the sky to show that Earth will hold us each day that goes by. I don't know how to write illuminate. Illuminating. 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 Lights the sky to show that Earth will hold us each day that by. Okay, let's try that again. $127. Try that again. $150. Cool. Proximity. Alright, proximity. Okay. That's 140. $163. Okay, moving on. Not a girl. Thank you for the subscription. Just don't call me girl again. Winnie. Winnie the Pooh. What's the use of stories that aren't even true? Ah, well, I got that one really wrong. I want you to know that the day you saw something in me, my whole life changed. Hello, Neon. Forgot how to write exclamation point. I think I did that one already. Eternity. I don't know how to write eternity. It turns. Okay. Why do I keep typoing? Okay, I remembered how to write eternity. Nowadays, keep nowadays has a brief. God, it was 174. 219? Wow! Oh, I accidentally hit menu. Try that again. Hmm. Keep typoing on mistress. Oh well. Few things are harder to put up with than the annoyance. Good example. On a happy ending, that depends, of course, on where you stop your story. Oh, music is a science that would have us laugh, sing, and dance. For books of which the backs and covers are by far the best parts. One day it's lion, then 1,000 lamb. I'll move on. You lock the door and throw away the key. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. Begin at the beginning and go on till you come to the end, then stop. Waits at the window wearing the face that she keeps in a jar by the door. Who is it for? And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make. perseverance. It's failing 19 times and succeeding the 20th. Well, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Learn as if you were to live forever. Oh, when you become untouchable, you are unable to touch. Does not do well to dwell, dreams, and for oh shit, water pro. Log or stone to remain motionless on level ground. Embrace for the glory as you stare into the sky. The blade is as good as though it had just come out of the grindstone. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. There's nothing wrong with having a tree as a friend. You forget what you want to remember and you remember what you want to forget. Whoops. Fret is forget? Okay. Okay, let's try that again. Huh? Why can't I suddenly not write to remember? T asterisk RPL. I can do that better. You'd think with the briefs it'd be easy, but I keep hesitating. Okay, I got 172. That's good enough for me. Give me honorable. Honorable. Okay. And 3 minutes. I'll move on to the textbook. Wow, I fucked that one up real bad. That was wrong. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, now we're on the textbook. Where do I put the notepad? Okay. Legal fees. Lawyers are required to charge reasonable legal fees and costs. Reasonableness is discussed in Model Rule 1.5 and includes the lawyer's experience, the difficulty of the case, and the chance that the lawyer will be prevented from taking other similar cases due to the conflict of interest rule. Unlike legal fees, which are the charges for the lawyer's time or efforts. Costs are expenses associated with a legal matter, such as filing fees. Her. Lawyers who engage in hourly billing may not charge two different clients for the same amount of time. Lawyers are allowed to bill separately for the use of their paralegals, provided that the client is aware and approves. Certain law firm costs, such as overhead expenses, rent, paper clips, utilities, are considered non-billables, and the act of charging them is unreasonable. Some lawyers charge a flat fee for their work and don't bill for the hours involved. A flat fee is a sum certain cost of the lawyer's services and is not based on the lawyer's hourly rate times the lawyer's billable hours. When a lawyer charges a contingency, welcome back, Patrick. I don't know how to write contingency. Hate that. Okay. Whoops. Or called a contingent fee. That fee agreement must be in writing and signed by the client. Contingency fees are commonly charged for personal injury cases and other tort cases, and if the plaintiff wins, the contingency fee is calculated how do I calculate again? Okay. Calculated as a percentage of the plaintiff's awarded damages. Under Model Rule 1.5, contingency fees are not allowed to be charged in criminal cases and divorce cases. Model Rule 5.4 prohibits lawyers from sharing a percentage of their legal fees with their paralegals and legal assistants. Although, an exception in the rule is made for non-lawyer employers being part of an employer's retirement plan even if the money going into the retirement plan comes from legal fees. Yeah, I'm trying. Advertising. That's not how you... Okay, let me look it up. Advertising.
Poisson VT just traded with 4 viewers.
Hello, Poisson VT. Thank you for the raid. Woo!
We reached our followers goal of 780. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, whoever followed. Typing is just letter math. Especially stenography. Then it's a syllabic letter math. Thank you for the raid. Hello, everyone. I am Melody Wisp. I'm an accessibility provider, voice actor, and variety streamer. I typically play RPGs and visual novels, but on Thursdays and special events, I like to do stenography practice. I am currently, this topic is something that I'm really interested in. So stenography is when you use a form of shorthand, voice, pen, or machine to take down dictation. Today, I've decided I was going to do steno jig, legal terminology textbook, hard copy, and audiobook practice. So I'm currently in the middle of just writing to a legal terminology textbook that I'm renting from Pearson.com. I am on page 72, advertising and solicitation. This is about, what is the chapter called again? Chapter is called legal ethics. So it's just me, just trying my best to write at above 120 words per minute to the textbook. And then in about 30 minutes or so, I'm going to switch over to the audiobook, which is Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle. So on my overlay, I have a bunch of plugins. One of them is displaying all of the keys that I hit. One of them is showing all of the suggestions for what I'm writing. So it'll show all of the different pulls from the dictionary that I use. One of them is just showing my approximate words per minute. And another one is just a lookup window for me to look up each of the words I'm trying to write. Thank you, Axel, and thank you, Kikato. If you're interested in stenography, I recommend you go to opensteno.org and you also join the Discord community for it. It's very there are a lot of hobbyists in the steno space. Everyone using everything from like game controllers to smaller keyboards to machines like I have. Okay, so I'm gonna get back to this textbook for the next 29 minutes. Hope I don't get too tired. Solicitation. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I have interest because I also stream and I want to be more inclusive to different people. That's a really good really good thing to do. I forgot the word I was gonna say. But yeah, it's really great. You got an error saying link expired. Okay, let me fix that real quick. My Discord isn't very busy.
Tickled off Patrick just redeemed yeehaw.
After I learned sign language, I feel that I have a bunch of people that I never ever chance to understand until make me think more about this stuff. Oh, you're learning sign language? That's great. Oh, I think the word was goal. Official language in your country. Cool. More of thinking on learning German. If you do that, then I hope you have a lot of fun doing it. There are services in print, on radio and television, and on the internet. The ABA leaves to individual jurisdictions the decision to govern what may and may not be presented in an advertisement. And most jurisdictions do not allow lawyers to include their past successes in their advertisements. Some jurisdictions prohibit lawyers from using actors in their commercials. Oh, I didn't know that. Sorry, commercial. Commercial, let me look it up. Oh, okay. KPHURLGS. KPHURLGS. Model Rule 7.3 prohibits a lawyer and his or her employees from soliciting a prospective client through live contact, including online contact, unless the prospective client is also a lawyer or is a family member or close friend of the lawyer. When written solicitations such as a letter sent by a lawyer to an accident victim intended to ask that person to become the lawyer's client are sent to prospective clients. Lawyers are required to put, quote, advertising material on the envelope and solicitation document. Okay, ad break is gonna start soon. 30 seconds. Legal ethics in a cyber world. The legal community has been playing catch up with respect to the intersection of technology, social media, and legal ethics. Part of the focus of the ABA's most recent effort. Oh, ads. Minutes left. Yeah, I stop whenever there's an ad break. It gives me time to just take a little break. Ad break ends in 1 minute. In 20 minutes, I'll do the audiobook. I borrowed it on Libby. Um, like 5 days ago, I think, and I haven't listened to it yet. Just me. All right, we're back. Okay, most recent effort. Okay. Effort is easy. To revise sections of the model rules of professional profile. Professional conduct includes responding to the questions raised by the ever increasing. Oh, BRB still on screen? Okay, thank you. It's because I had the notepad and the chat window covering it up. ever increasing, where is it? Oh, use of the internet to practice law. Some of the issues needing to be resolved include determining the following: how and when lawyers and law firms may ethically incorporate social media into their law practice. What content may be on a law firm's website. Whether a lawyer may write a blog that includes discussion of the lawyer's past or current cases. Whether lawyers may use online referral services that funnel web users to the law firm websites. Whether a lawyer may use an online coupon website to promote the lawyer's services. Whether a lawyer may be part of a law practice related website that allows users, such as former clients or other lawyers, to rate or endorse the lawyer. Whether lawyers or their paralegals may use social media to investigate prospective jurors, witnesses in cases, or even opposing clients. Whether lawyers may solicit the business of those who are the lawyer's Facebook, quote, friends, end quote, or part of the lawyer's LinkedIn network, and whether lawyers may practice law exclusively on the internet, having no physical office. That was a lot. Answers to these types of questions often come in the form of or ethics opinions, and eventually changes to the ethics rules. For example, the ABA issued an ethics opinion in 2010 concluding that all lawyer website information was subject to the truthfulness requirements by then existing ethics rules. In 2014, the ABA issued an ethics opinion that permitted lawyers to review the web presence of jurors or potential jurors, but prohibited contacting them through social media. Many jurisdictions have issued ethics opinions for their lawyers on similar matters, and some state and local bar associations have created guides for ethical use of social media. attorney discipline. The ABA does not regulate lawyers. The highest court in a given jurisdiction does. If a client believes that he or she has been subject to the lawyer's misconduct, the client can file a written accusation against the lawyer called a grievance. The grievance is filed with that jurisdiction's disciplinary okay, let me look up disciplinary. Disciplinary, okay. Disciplinary commission, which is empowered by its jurisdiction's Supreme Court to investigate the grievance and decide whether or not to bring ethics charges against the attorney. The lawyer is found to have violated his or her jurisdiction's rules of professional conduct. A disciplinary sanction is given. Such sanctions range from a private reprimand where the lawyer's name is not included with the official censure, to a public reprimand to a short license suspension involving the lawyer's automatically being allowed to practice law at the suspension's conclusion, to a longer suspension under which the lawyer must apply for reinstatement to the practice of law at the suspension's conclusion, to even disbarment, which is permanent loss of a law license. However, some jurisdictions allow an attorney to apply for reinstatement to the practice of law after a multi-year disbarment term. For example, a disbarred Indiana attorney is permanently disbarred, whereas a disbarred Florida attorney who has not previously been disbarred may apply for reinstatement after 5 years. Oh, that was the end of the chapter. In our society, criminal law not only dominates the news, but also penetrates deeply into our culture by way of TV thrillers, violent movies, and suspense filled mystery stories. And yet, the criminal law is bound by the limits set in the U.S. Constitution. So, part 2 opens with an overview of the Constitution and a summary of its key parts. Then, part 2 discusses many of the crimes that we have heard about or have been exposed to since childhood. After defining a crime and explaining its components, Chapter 10 highlights the 3 broad classes of crimes and describes accomplices and criminal defenses. Chapter 11 explains the elements of crimes and discusses crimes against property, including larceny, embezzlement, bribery, extortion, coercion, receipt of stolen goods, and forgery. Chapter 12 explores the crimes against the person, such as robbery, mayhem, I didn't know was a crime, mayhem, assault, battery, and rape, in addition to crimes against human habitation. That is burglary, and arson. The subject of homicide is explained in chapter 13. I'll just move on. Okay, now we're gonna do the audiobook. It's gonna be way too fast. It's probably gonna be at like 225 words per minute at least. Here's the book. Huh. Oh, because it wasn't capturing the audio. Wrong one. Capture audio, finally.
Read by Andre Santana, Charlie Jane Anders, CJ Lead, Georgia Bird, Liz Karen, Marco Shiro, Mara Wilson, Sarah Gailey, Stephen Graham Jones, T. Kingfisher, and TJ Kloon.
That's a lot of people. It's a little loud for me. It's a little loud for me. Is there a volume button on here? I don't remember there being a volume button. So let me just put Firefox at 20.
Memento Mori.
It looks like it's a. Is that a good volume?
The backlot is humming with energy today, and I'm not thrilled about it. Rolling up to the east security gate is typically a surefire way to cruise right in and get any tedious studio afternoon over with, but I've discovered a line of 5 or 6 cars waiting for me. It's always something with this place, and today that something is poor traffic management. I settle in, watching April at the security booth as she flashes her welcoming smile at each producer, actor, writer, and director making their way through the checkpoint. I can't quite see who she's talking to, the rising California sun washing my eyes in its golden glow. Even through these dark sunglasses, it's hard to get a read on the driver of the McLaren with the scissored doors and obnoxious paint job, but a shock of stark white hair hints at Raymond Nelson, head of the animation department and a real-deal Hollywood legend. This would make sense, as he rarely keeps the same car for more than a month, and I've yet to notice this vehicle on the lot. Ray is old school. I used to be terrified of the guy, but have since come to appreciate his no-bullshit approach to this business after 2 decades of weathering it myself. Regardless of your opinion on Raymond Nelson's studio battles and legendary tantrums, there's a lot to be said for sticking around as long as he has. A few years back, I worked for him on a pitch, a cartoon concept that never really got off the ground and eventually became a live-action TV pilot, and while his ideas about certain social issues are alarmingly dated, he maintains the spark that once propelled him to the top. The guy isn't just some suit. Raymond put in the hours, hand-drawing every cell of his first animated short before I was even born. He's part of the rare handful still with us who built this studio from the ground up. On the other hand, he's also a blowhard asshole. Ray eventually pulls onward in his 6-figure sports car, this lime green vehicle acting as yet another billboard for his decades-deep midlife crisis. The absurd sight of Ray's new luxury vehicles usually triggers a smile of bemusement, but as Ray leaves the checkpoint, I notice a look of exaggerated distaste on April's face. This expression quickly shifts back to her usual warmth as the next car pulls up, and the process begins anew. I move forward in turn, the whole line shifting 1 space, then put my car in park again. For the life of me, I can't remember it ever taking this long. It's also possible my nerves are just stretching my perception of time like taffy. I'm rarely tense over a meeting. I just show up, tell them to fuck off, and leave. But this one feels different. Everything in this town feels different lately. I lean back in my seat and turn down the car stereo, which has been blasting the snarling howl of British punk band Idols into my eardrums at an admittedly dangerous volume, and check in on myself. Deep breaths fill my lungs. In and out. In and out. And I facilitate this moment of peace even more by cracking the windows a bit. To my right lies the Herald Brothers backlot, a sprawling mass of offices and breathtakingly large sound stages. To my left is an empty field of tall yellow grass that leads right up to the backside of Griffith Park. The studio owns these unused swaths of land, and one day they too will be covered in monstrous rectangular sound stages. For now, however, these rare natural spaces peeking through the vast Los Angeles sprawl are treating my ears to a soft, brittle rustle, the gentle wind shifting millions of dry grass blades against their neighbors. My eyes close as the sun warms my skin. Honk, honk. The sounds are unexpected, but too far away to prompt much of a reaction. This invasion of my auditory space consists of 2 staccato blurts from a horn, an instrument that could just as easily belong to a circus clown as it could a passing bicycle. I slowly open my eyes and turn my head toward the open field. A cardboard cutout stands awkwardly within this vast plain of golden grass, frozen in place as the blades rattle gently against its cartoon knees. It's a human-sized rendering of Chucky the Woodchuck, his 2 massive front teeth framed by the maniacal grin that launched an animation empire. Weekday mornings, I'd watch this ball of hand-drawn energy face off against Wily Wolf, the two-dimensional forest, their own personal Home Alone house stuffed full of anvils, mallets, and comically oversized dynamite sticks. It's always thrilling to see prey outsmart predator, even if that means strapping an anthropomorphic wolf to rocket skates and sending him to the moon. This cardboard depiction of Chucky the Woodchuck is from his early days, stark black and white with a distinctly vintage design. He doesn't have his gloves yet, and his divergent eyes are much wilder than the modern version. Back in the day, there was a large portion of potential viewers who found his zany, buck-toothed expression, well, frightening. Adjustments were made. Chucky is holding a bicycle horn in one hand. I stare at this cardboard cutout in silence. First a little surprised I hadn't noticed it until now, then wondering how it got all the way out there. The field is enormous, and while we're close enough to the back gate for Chucky the Woodchuck's arrival to have a dozen or so logical explanations, there's something about his placement that feels odd. Someone had to trudge deep into that tall grass and prop him up. Chucky the Woodchuck's rolling, multi-directional eyes feel as though they've somehow met mine, angled to both the left and the right, yet drawing me in. I get the same eerie feeling I did all those years ago, plopped in front of the television set. The original design really was creepy. Honk! The squeak blasts again, only this time it's much louder. I jolt abruptly, eyes flickering up to the rearview mirror, and discovering the driver behind me is serving a gesture of frustration. The cars ahead have already pulled forward 2 full spaces, leaving a gaping hole. "Get off your phone!" the driver shouts. "I'm not on my phone!" I yell back, awkwardly pointing at the palm of my hand. He just
What is this? Yeah, this is an audiobook.
shakes his head with seething irritation. He flicks his hand toward me, shooing me onward. "Fuck you too!" I shout in parting. By the time I get my car and drive, it's a straight shot to the security booth. "Crazy day, huh?" I start, pulling up next to April's little white security hut. "Misha!" she cries, excited to see me, or doing an excellent job of pretending. "It's been a while." I nod. You know a script's bad when they can't just schedule a Zoom about it. "I'm sure it's great. Congratulations, by the way." I force a nod of acceptance, feeling awkward about the praise. I never quite learned how to take a compliment, and at this age...
Yeah, I don't know anything about this book other than it's probably a horror novel.
I don't think I ever will. "Sure, yeah." April hands over a small blue box. "Thumb," she instructs. "You're asking for prints now?" April shrugs. "They're updating everything around here. New security stuff. That's why it's taking so long." I press my thumb against the tiny device a few times until, eventually, it emits a soft digital beep. "All done," April announces with a grin. She takes back the glowing blue cube. "Good luck with the meeting." I continue on, glancing in my rearview mirror to discover the cardboard woodchuck has disappeared. Probably knocked over by the wind and laid out somewhere in the tall grass. Giant beige walls rise around me, a gridded labyrinth of passages between every soundstage on the lot. These towering buildings block out the sun, creating a web of shady alleyways where various production teams avoid the heat and go about their daily routines. As with the gate, a strange disarray permeates the scene, the hustle and bustle of an already active backlot taken to unexpected heights. A single building, the Herald Brothers Water Tower, looms above the rest, and as this iconic structure bathes me in its shade, I remove my sunglasses. This particular section of Herald Brothers Studios is arranged around a central hub, a portion of the lot where important office bungalows are situated and a coffee shop routinely attracts tired crew members on lunch breaks. A well-manicured grass field sits at the center, complete with a lush, palm-filled garden and a constantly flowing fountain of crystalline water. I park in a spot near the promenade, climbing from my vehicle and heading up the winding winding sandstone path. People are everywhere, some of them wandering past me in the middle of impassioned conversations on their AirPods, others talking loudly over coffee as they perch on various benches. I pick up the pace. My meeting awaits just beyond this chaotic little oasis. "Misha, you fuck!" someone calls out, prompting an unexpected halt in my stride. Fortunately, I'd know this voice anywhere, and a smile has already bloomed across my face before I even turn around. Tara Ito is rushing across the lawn to greet me, my best friend's arms wide open as she prepares her warm embrace. She's wearing a bright orange suit with a glittering silver sequined button-up and a bolo tie underneath. 3 very distinct choices that might look downright comical on anyone else. My friend somehow pulls it off, though. She always pulls it off. Tara is small, but her energy is twice the size of an average human. Her hair is naturally black, but she's managed to lift it all the way to a stark white that works in playful contrast with her youthful appearance. The only thing that gives her away as someone currently in the midst of a grueling workday is the leather satchel cast haphazardly over her shoulder, an assortment of black and yellow computer cables bubbling forth. The fact that Tara spends most of her time alone, poring over server bays and strolling down dark industrial corridors, is hilarious to me. We're surrounded by executives prepping for a day's worth of face-to-face meetings, yet none of them have half the confidence and swagger Tara does. We hug. "How's my beautiful baby boy?" Tara questions, pulling back to look me in the eyes. I'm 3 years older than Tara, but her predilection for calling me baby remains unfettered. I'm ready to get this meeting over with, I admit. "Oh, your super difficult meeting where the VP of television gives you 2 notes and then sucks you off for an hour?" she counters. "I'm implementing the revised IP security protocol across 57 buildings today." "Want to trade?" I quip. "You know I don't swing that way," Tara replies, then winks. "I don't swing anyway, baby." "Still on to watch those screeners later?" "God, yes," Tara confirms with a sigh. She's straightening out the collar of my jacket now, picking off some lint and flattening the crease. Suddenly, Tara riffles through the inside pocket of my blazer and yanks out my cell phone. Before I get the chance to protest, she holds it up to my face and unlocks the screen. "Put your phone on airplane mode whenever you're on the lot," she states, scrolling through my settings and taking care of it herself. Once finished, Tara opens my jacket and returns the phone to its rightful position. I can't help laughing. "Why?" My friend's expression flickers with a rare moment of solemn gravity. "Data packets." "I have no idea what those are," I admit. "What if I need to take a call?" "Do what I do," she replies, pulling 2 separate phones from her pocket and fanning them out in one hand. "Work and play." "Congratulations, by the way." For the second time today, I find myself immediately dismissing a compliment. I grimace before Tara can even finish her sentence. "It's an empty category. I don't even think it's televised." "You fucking asshole," she scolds, putting her phones away. "It is televised. It's a big deal. People don't just accidentally get nominated for an Oscar." Best live-action short film. There's no dialogue and it stars a mouse. "It's a big deal," she counters sternly, placing a hand on my shoulder. "Thank you." I finally relent, accepting her words of appreciation. I glance around the park. Is that why it's so crazy today? Nominee announcements? Tara laughs, then nods her head toward the soundstage looming to my right. "You could say that." I follow my friend's gesture, gazing up at a colossal display emblazoned across the building. I was so focused on getting in and out of the back lot that I didn't even take a moment to look up. Now that I have, I'm overwhelmed by the presence of an enormous mural. The entire side of this soundstage has been covered by an image of superstar actor Chris Oak. He's sitting at a glass table and looking exhausted, the lighting orange and dramatic as it shows off his notoriously expressive face. The guy is breathtakingly handsome, his brown hair slicked back but disheveled. He's wearing a white suit, a ghost of the 1980s woven through its tailoring. A hint of brilliant red is splattered across the stark cuff of Chris's wrist. Workers perched on hanging scaffolding are carefully pasting this image into place, rolling it onto the wall piece by piece. Still, there's more than enough here to deliver the text. Huge block letters stretch across the top. The year was 1986. The city was Miami. The man was legendary. Chris Oak is Enzo Basile in Broken Dawn. The lower half of the image has additional copy, but it's still too shocking to fully accept. I force myself to read it aloud. Making History. First Academy Award nomination for a posthumous performance. There's plenty of folks who've been nominated for big awards after their death, and while this is typically a story of note, it's nothing earth-shattering. The difference is that these previous nominations occurred posthumously, but the performance itself did not. Chris Oak died 3 years before filming Broken Dawn, the fictional crime epic that's now poised to sweep awards season. His likeness was fabricated from whole cloth using mountains of previous
Hi, Axel.
footage and cutting-edge CGI technology. Supposedly, the choices in Digital Chris's performance are precisely what the actor would have done, and now this uncanny AI creation has been nominated for Best Actor. Thanks to the valiant strikes of hardworking actors and writers, humans are still being credited for some of this work, and Chris's family will receive a portion of the residuals. The pay is technically better than ever, which is to say, still not enough. They're having him do a video chat press tour, Tara informs me, her eyes still glued to the enormous mural before us. That's why I'm updating security protocols. The studio doesn't want anyone hacking the transmissions and getting a look at the HBS special sauce. These days, a studio's private algorithm is just as valuable as their stable of talent, and, to their credit, Harold Brothers is the best of the best. AI performances are hardly a new phenomenon, but HBS are the only ones whose creations are indistinguishable from a flesh-and-blood actor. The eerie CGI renditions of other studios often get a pass for sheer novelty, but the uncanny valley is still too wide for serious consideration. That's why Harold Brothers Studios is getting the nomination, and they're not. What a nightmare, I sigh. It's horrifically ghoulish and probably the end of the world, Tara states flatly, then pats her satchel of wires and cables. I feel safer with my eye on the zombies, though, and looking after the graveyard pays pretty well. She's not wrong. We still need to eat. Hey, don't be late for your meeting, Tara says. I give her another hug before we part ways. I'll see you tonight. With that, I turn and forge deeper into the sun-soaked belly of this multi-billion-dollar beast. It's not long before the winding sandstone path arrives at a towering office, constructed with the same breezy Southern California style as the bungalows, but looming 3 stories high. This structure is surrounded by massive succulents, the drought-resistant plants jutting out toward me with enormous green spikes. As I enter the lobby, a secretary greets me with a smile and a nod. I've never seen her before, but she knows my name. Misha Byrne, the woman says, motioning toward the elevator. Mr. Hayes is ready for you. I step into the lift and push a button for the top floor. Soon enough, the metal doors are opening wide to reveal a stunning view of the studio backlot. This room features massive floor-to-ceiling windows, and although we're not high enough to see over the nearby sound stages, I'm now positioned to gaze directly down one of the shadowy aisles and straight to the hills beyond. To the right is that colossal mural of Chris Oak as Enzo Basile, its diligent crew nearly finished with their application. The office of Jack Hayes looks as though it were manifested from the pages of a mid-century modern coffee table book, perfectly staged to appear more like someone's luxury beachside vacation rental than an office. The only thing that gives the charade away is a handful of movie and television posters lining the wall to my right, some of the most important media offerings in Herald Brothers history. A poster for my first show at Herald Brothers, Devil's Due, hangs at the far end of this row, partially tucked behind a wide-leafed indoor palm. On it, a demonic librarian sits behind a checkout counter, her head resting on one hand as she rolls her eyes in overblown disappointment. A stack of overdue library books rest next to her, and the top one is on fire. A friendly demon is forced to work at a children's library. Hilarity ensues. Everyone learns. It was canceled after one season, hardly up to the caliber of the other hits on this wall. But for some reason, Jack still hangs it. It's hidden behind a plant, but still. Jack claps his hands when he sees me, proudly showing off a display of alarmingly white teeth. There he is! The executive cheers, strolling across the room. Jack's work takes place entirely behind the scenes, yet his appearance suggests the end result of some grueling casting call for charming asshole studio head. His suit is perfectly tailored, fitting his toned chest and shoulders with surreal perfection. The man's eyes are brilliant blue, and his youthful haircut would be marred by salt and pepper grays if not for
Goodbye, Kikato.
consistent sandy blonde dye jobs. A single white bud is stuffed into his right ear, Bluetooth connected and ready for anything. I extend my hand for a shake, but Jack's response is to offer me a pound with his closed fist. Thanks for coming in to see me, buddy, Jack continues, motioning toward a chair next to his desk. What's going on? A look of bemused surprise flickers across Jack's face as he takes his place behind the table. He leans back in his chair, grinning. Right down to business, huh? Well, I hate being here, I remind him. Jack lets out a chuckle. You don't even want to ask me how Braylon's soccer tournament went? I'm sorry. How did Braylon's soccer tournament go? Fucking terrible. Her team sucks, Jack states flatly. But she has fun out there. You should come next time. I nod along. I mean, I've got a lot of work to do. Travelers starts filming in a few months. I know when filming starts, Misha. There's nothing sinister in the way he says these words, yet they immediately strike a chord. Jack doesn't need to be angry to wield his power. The full might of a massive media conglomerate does that work for him. Jack motions out the window toward Enzo's captivating visage, changing the subject and setting the pace, whether I like it or not. Pretty cool. Technology, right? I feel like the real Chris Oak would have turned down that role, I say. He didn't really play villains. Well, how exciting is that? Now he can, Jack counters. Was he even Italian? Jack gets deathly serious for a moment. The ethnicity of the Broken Dawn is left ambiguous in the script. I furrow my brow. Wasn't there an episode of Travelers about the ghost of Elvis Presley? Jack prods. I don't recall Misha Byrne having any problem using someone's celebrity likeness in a script that he wrote. Elvis Preslin, I remind Jack. Legal made me change his last name once they realized the king would be dismembering people. Jack stares past me and squints a little, the expression of someone searching their memory banks and coming up empty. Regardless, nobody thought it was actually Elvis, I continue. No shade to David Duchovny. He did a great job. I also had a good reason to include him. Elvis was a symbol of my relationship with fame and celebrity. I still don't see the difference. One choice was for art and the other for commerce. Jack can't help cracking a smile. God bless you, Misha. You still think there's a difference. The muralists have finished their Broken Dawn ad, and a new crew has arrived. This second shift is preparing an enormous pulley and lever system, lifting various speakers, classical instruments, and other equipment onto the soundstage roof. Don't you want to know what they're doing over there? Jack asks, changing the subject. No. Music video shoot. He barrels onward. Incredible soundtrack. Also nominated. They've got an Owner of a Lonely Heart cover that'll make you come. Right, I say dryly, nodding along. But you know how getting nominated feels. Congratulations, my man. Thank you, I reply. Can we get to the part where you explain what I'm doing here? You're a very important member of this family. I hope you know that. I hope you know how much I personally love your writing. The executive gushes. That cliffhanger at the end of Travelers Season 2? Oh my God! Seriously, you floor me. You fucking floor me, buddy. I mean, you could do it 10 times faster if you'd let a computer take the lead, but whatever. There's still an audience for the organic stuff. Don't forget that. But there's a problem, I interject, hoping to cut to the chase for a second time. Jack hesitates, his expression shifting a bit. A very small problem, he explains. I got your Season 3 finale, and I read it over on Friday. A few people read it over, actually. And we've got some notes. I settle in, trying not to react just yet. It's not that I have a problem with getting notes, but this almost never happens. I'm a skilled enough writer that the work speaks for itself, and as long as ratings are good, the fine folks at Herald Brothers generally keep their opinions to themselves. Did you know my nephew is gay? Jack asks. Congrats, I reply awkwardly. I'm just letting you know that I'm not some right-wing nutjob. I understand gay culture. I'm plugged in. I've known you for like a decade and a half, I remind him. You're very homophobic. A flicker of panic surges across Jack's face. I'm fucking with you, I continue. Or am I? Wait, what? Get to the point, I snap. The point is, I'm not the bad guy here, Jack continues. It's the suits, you know? It's the whole damn system. I stare at him blankly, genuinely curious if Jack's aware that he's the system. We need you to change the kissing scene between Agent Lexa and Agent Naomi. I scoff. Walk me through this. If they don't kiss, then how are the viewers going to confirm they've actually been falling in love the whole time? This episode starts with them sharing a one-bed hotel room. Jack winces a bit, shifting in his chair. Yeah, we're gonna need you to change that part too. I can't help the laughter that suddenly bubbles up within me and escapes my throat like a noxious cloud of anxiety. This type of queer erasure was common years ago, but times have changed. Gay characters are everywhere now, and the audience for this type of story is only growing. Pulling the plug on the lesbian relationship of your heroes, one that's been simmering for years, is utterly absurd. You understand I've been laying the groundwork for this moment, right? I snap, the anger finally surging through my veins in a potent wave. This was always the plan for Travelers. I'm not going to straighten out two of the most obviously gay characters on television. Besides, the whole second half of their arc is based on this relationship being romantic. Jack nods along, wearing a face that already screams, I hear your concerns, but... You've put a lot of heart into these two, Jack continues. That's why I called you in to discuss this face to face. There are a few options here, Misha. Does one of them include a kiss between Carrie Lexa and May Naomi? I question. Yes, my boss replies. A hint of relief suddenly enters the caustic mix of anger and fear that's swirling through me. Maybe this whole thing is just a huge misunderstanding. You've just gotta kill the... Jack finally continues. Fuck you, I exclaim, well before the final word has slipped through his lips. I leap from my chair, struggling to find a way for my body to process this frustrated energy. I begin to pace, gazing out the window at an expansive view of the juggernaut I've been riding for decades, the machine finally turning around and rumbling back to crush me under its mighty wheels. In the early days, I was protected by the fact that I had nothing to lose, and success provided an even stronger armor against studio meddling. Until now. Listen, this isn't my call. It's all up to the board, Jack explains. I'm just the messenger. Who the fuck is the board? There's no board. The people who sign our checks these days, he reveals, exhibiting a bit of frustration himself. Jack glances at the door as if someone out there might be listening in. He lowers his voice a bit. The merger changed everything, buddy. It used to be my job to make these calls. Now I just get an email from the board. Everything is fucking data points and trends and graphs and targeted marketing. I'd say it's all bullshit, but I've seen the results. The money doesn't lie. And the money says Lexa and Naomi aren't lesbians? I question. Well, no, Jack counters. The executive opens an email, quickly reading it over to refresh himself on the facts. He clears his throat. I'll tell you exactly what the money says. You need a new cast member aged 18 to 24, white, with a conservative disposition. The money says you need to make room for this new character by eliminating one of your old leads who have been refusing to do press, by the way, and that doesn't help. But the real money says you need to let your gay characters finally open up about who they are and then kill them off. That's the story that brings drama, and drama brings subscribers, and subscribers bring me, and by extension you, a boatload of fucking cash. So cheer up and kill off these two chicks who don't even exist, buddy. That's not this story, I firmly retort. And these are creative decisions,
Thank you for the follow.
not executive ones. Jack turns his computer to face me, the screen revealing an open email and a long stack of bullet points. The algorithm says otherwise. The board has raw data on this, and they're projecting a huge leap in viewership. I stopped pacing. I had a feeling shit was gonna get weird, but not this weird. Remember, you've got a few options here. If you want to make them straight, you can, but the board is leaning hard toward killing Agent Lexa and Agent Naomi in a blaze of gay glory. Jack leans back in his chair, putting his hands behind his head. I'm honestly kind of surprised. You've got a flair for drama, Misha. I thought you might get hard over some final sacrifice for love or whatever. I mean, you're the writer, not me, but that's got Emmy written all over it. Bury your gaze, I reply, utterly deadpan. Jack rolls his eyes. In film, in TV, in books, the queer characters never get a happy ending, I press. Sometimes they're the first to go. Other times they make some brave sacrifice in the finale, but it always ends in tragedy and death. That's why it's called Bury Your Gaze. Okay, well, start digging, Jack suggests bluntly. I'm guaranteed creative control on this project, I laugh. We have a contract. Contracts break all the time. You'd really end our deal over this? There would be a very long, very arduous legal battle, Jack explains, a distinctly threatening tone seeping into his voice. If you did get a payout, I don't know how much of that money you'd actually see. Studio lawyers are savage, and their pockets are endless. I'm not telling you this to fuck with you. I'm telling you this as a friend. So that's the big bet? I question. You'll make more money killing off my gay leads than you'll lose fighting the legal battle over it? Or you could just come through for the studio that's had your back since day one, Jack counters. I kill off characters every day in this office, Misha. You're not the first showrunner I've had this conversation with, and you certainly won't be the last. It's not a big deal if you don't make it one. It's a big deal to carry Lexa and May Naomi. Jack laughs. Well, I hate to break it to you, but they're not real. A wave of emotion suddenly bubbles up within my chest and sticks in my throat. I feel sick, the reality of this situation finally starting to puncture my tough exterior. You have about 4 weeks to turn in your final script, so there's time to decide, Jack reminds me. After that, you'll be in breach of contract and the characters will turn back over to Herald Brothers anyway. You can write them off on your own terms, or someone else will do it for you. I'm sorry, Misha. You know I love you, but this isn't my call. Jack's demeanor suddenly changes. He straightens up and taps the white plastic bud in his ear. Yep, I'll be ready in 5. Jack presses the earbud again, returning his gaze to mine. See? I'm about to kill off Pickles the police dog, and they think they're coming up here for a full season pickup. This is the job, Misha. Jack leads me back to his elevator. He presses the call button, prompting the doors to open with a soft chime. Well, I'm not going to make your changes, I announce, turning and stepping into the lift. They'll be even gayer now. I guess we'll see you in court, Jack retorts with a smile. Go fuck yourself. Good talk, buddy. He's still grinning as the metal doors slide closed between us. The second I'm all alone in the mirrored lift, I catch my gaze in the reflection. A late 30s man with shaggy brown hair and angular features. My smug expression of artistic defiance immediately falters. By the time the doors open again, I've fully collected myself, despite the subtle wetness at the corners of my bright blue eyes. I head out into the lobby, barely acknowledging Jack's secretary as she offers a cordial goodbye. A woman in a light gray pantsuit stands up from the nearby couch, gathering her things. She strolls past me and enters the elevator, completely unaware that she's headed for an execution. The lift doors close, the shining blade of a guillotine. Back in the courtyard, I slow down a bit, struggling to rein in my emotions. I close my eyes and lean back, allowing the sun to cascade across my face and warm my skin. Everything's gonna be fine. If there's one thing you're good at doing, it's writing yourself out of a corner. Still, I can't help the feeling that this is something no amount of storytelling talent can overcome. Honk! I freeze in response to this unexpected sound drifting down from somewhere above. I open my eyes and scan the crisscrossed pattern of breezy palms hanging over my head, then beyond them to the soundstage rooftops. There are no answers to be found. No clowns rolling by on unicycles or cardboard cutouts of a black and white woodchuck. This moment of honed senses gradually crumbles away as the chaotic backlot atmosphere returns. I didn't like coming here when things were going well, and now I'm even more anxious to put some distance between me and this cursed landscape of tram tours and live studio audiences. I've got to get out of here. I start walking again, making my way past the coffee shop and over the central green. I stop only long enough to grab a free souvenir matchbook from the eatery. I drop the matches into my pocket, the fresh cardboard rectangle settling next to the one that's already there, then continue toward the parking lot. Everything's gonna be fine, I tell myself again, fully aware that it's probably not, but letting the words soothe my brain anyway. A familiar McLaren is parked next to my car, and as I approach the vehicles, I notice Raymond Nelson for the second time this morning. The ancient cartoonist is chatting up a young woman some 20 yards onward, standing under the watchful gaze of an enormous, computer-generated mob boss. The woman has several wardrobe choices draped over her shoulder, and she appears increasingly frustrated by her conversation with Raymond. On a lot like this, there's more than enough conflict to go around. This little interaction shouldn't catch my attention as much as it does, but for some reason, I resolved to keep an eye on things. Maybe it's my frustration with the whole damn studio, the anger of my previous meetings spilling over into some righteous hero complex, but instead of climbing into my car, I decide to step a little closer. I listen in, my eyes trained on the interaction between Raymond and the young wardrobe assistant. Ray is laughing, but the woman grows more agitated by the second. As their conflict reaches a climax, Ray reaches out and puts his hand around the woman's waist, a cheeky pinch inciting her to jump and struggle against him. "Hey!" I shout, immediately prompting the animation legend to let go and meet my gaze. He's still laughing, a truly frightening response. The guy was caught red-handed, being a creep, yet his legendary status renders anything I could possibly say utterly meaningless. "I'm just messing around," Raymond chuckles, then turns his attention back to the wardrobe assistant. "Right? I'm just messing around." The woman says nothing in return, simply throwing her hands up and walking away. As I continue marching toward Raymond, I quickly realize I have no idea what I'm going to do when I get there. I'm running on instinct now, a spring wound so tightly that some kind of release is inevitable. Fortunately, it's times like this that my writer's instinct kicks in. I'm not sure what path I'll take, but I certainly know what one of my heroes would do in a situation like this. It might seem silly, but this mental exercise has consistently helped me when I needed it the most. I stopped directly before the cartoonist. "Listen, you old fuck. This isn't 1920 anymore. You can't just grab people like that." Raymond continues to laugh, raising his gnarled hands in a stance of mock defensiveness. I couldn't be any less of a threat to him. "Uh-oh, security is here." There are plenty of things I could verbally rip into, hoping to tear him down. But a man like Raymond doesn't get into this position without thick skin. He's hoping I'll get wound up, waiting in a state of bemusement to see what I'll say next. "A lot of people look up to you around here," I finally state with fiery clarity. "You're a legend, and you're better than—" Before I have a chance to finish my sentence, an unexpected yelp of panic rings out from above. The shout is so bewildering that I barely have time to look up, and at Raymond's ripe old age, he doesn't even hear it. 1 second I'm yelling at a smug asshole in an expensive suit. The next, there's nothing there. A mighty, splintering crunch rings out, accompanied by a dissonant musical stab like this moment was a horror movie jump scare. My ears are ringing and my face is wet, but I have no idea why. Gradually, horrified screams cut through the ringing in my ears, cries spilling forth all around me. The wardrobe assistant is standing to the side, petrified and covered in blood. Her eyes are wide, her jaw trembling. "Are you all right?" I struggle to ask, but the words come out awkward and stilted. I wonder if I even said them at all. I follow the woman's gaze, staring down at the mess that's appeared before me. The wooden remains of a massive grand piano have shattered across the pavement, its jet black finish and light interior meshing with the liquefied crimson mess that was once Raymond Nelson. This would explain the brief musical accompaniment. Ray has popped like a water balloon, his body utterly annihilated by the weight of this enormous classical instrument. My gaze lifts skyward, eyes meeting the crew tasked with hoisting supplies onto the roof for today's video shoot. They're frozen too, their expressions a single frame of abject horror. A snapped cable flutters in the wind.
Whoa! That's quite the ending. I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It's starting to rain really hard. Can't wait to continue this tomorrow. Alright, who am I gonna raid? I am going to raid Dizzy Rolls EXC. 'Cause, 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 'cause He is currently playing Rhythm Heaven Groove. See y'all tomorrow for Deltarune Chapter 5. Bye!
Thank you.